What's going on with y'all? It's Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Ball Sports Network. Thank you guys for watching. Continue to hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. Now, I'm here today to talk about, let's just call it what it is. I mean, he's almost like a hero. Kenny Stills. So Kenny Stills, the wide receiver of the Houston Texans, was arrested with 86 other people in Louisville, Kentucky, as they demanded justice for the killing of Breonna Taylor. And Kenny Stills, quietly, over the last several years, has been one of the most outspoken and least represented in the media as far as getting media coverage players in the NFL as far as fighting for social justice. Now, you know, there's a lot of guys who say, yes, we need to do this and we need to do that and social justice, Black Lives Matter, rah, 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 and do all of these things, but they don't actually put in the work, right? Or they make a big bunch of headlines, a big bunch of posts to do this and do that and calling people out and do whatever to try to get media attention, but they're not actually putting in what's called the legwork, right? Whereas Kenny Stills, he doesn't make a bunch of social media posts. He doesn't ask for a bunch of attention. He just goes out and does the work, right? He just does it. He was one of the first supporters outside of the San Francisco 49ers, outside of players from that team back in 2016 to support Colin Kaepernick. Since then, he has called out several people in the media, or several people that have fought against the black people's rights. He's called them out. He has done ground level work with several organizations since 2016. That's at least that I can find, you know? And that right there, and here's the thing about Kenny Stills. He's risking his NFL career by doing things like getting arrested, by being on the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron's yard. Now, give you some background information, Breonna Taylor, if you've been living under a rock, Breonna Taylor was killed by the Louisville Metro Police Department. They issued a no-knock warrant. They were looking for a guy that they thought lived at her building or her apartment. He wasn't there. Her and her boyfriend went in their sleep. They busted through their doors. The boyfriend shot at the police because he thought that they were intruders. They were in plain clothes with no body cameras. Plain clothes, plain cars, no body camera. Looking for a guy that was already in custody at the wrong place, at the wrong apartment. They bust in. He shoots one shot. They shoot back several rounds. It hits her, I think, 6 to 8 times in the body, and she dies, right? And she was a city worker, worked as an EMT. This happened in March. The 3 officers that executed this no-knock warrant for a guy that was already in custody are still police officers and have not been arrested. So since then, this ground-swelling support of Breonna Taylor and her family has been, the pressure has been put on the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron of Kentucky, to arrest the officers that killed Breonna Taylor. So there's the background story. So a group of people, of over 100 people in Louisville, people from everywhere, came to Louisville to protest at Daniel Cameron's front door. They went to his house and they protested in his front yard, and 87 people were arrested. And one of those people were Kenny Stills. And here's the thing about Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is an NFL player, so obviously he's a good football player. But Kenny Stills isn't Julio Jones. He isn't Michael Thomas. He isn't Odell Beckham. He isn't on a $90 million contract. He is someone that's genuinely willing to put his career, his football career, less accomplished than Colin Kaepernick ever was, is putting his football career on the line for our people. To me, that is heroic, because you got to think, there's people way higher than Kenny Stills in the NFL. Kenny Stills was a 5th-round draft pick. He has roughly around 4,700 yards in his career in 7 years. He has less than 40 touchdowns. He's got 36 touchdowns. So he doesn't have this big, like this super astound resume and this super astound play in the NFL to say, hey, I can do these kind of things, get arrested and charged with a felony, right, fighting for his people, to just go out and do these things and know his job's going to be safe. Kenny Stills is doing this for our people, knowing that there's a chance that they could cut him, fire him, and nobody picks him up in the league. And to him, the fight and the cause, the fight for justice for Breonna Taylor and her family is worth what it seems like to put his NFL career in jeopardy. Because like I said, Kenny Stills isn't the best receiver in the world, but he's risking everything that he has currently to fight for justice. And to me, that's heroic. That is nothing more than a hero. The fact that you are willing to risk everything, your professional career, you're only 28 years old, and you're willing to risk your professional career to bring the light to the Breonna Taylor case and to fight justice for Breonna Taylor and her family, that is not simply heroic. And more people should be like Kenny Stills. And that is just simply, and you get a lot of these NFL players, these NBA players that talk a big game, they go out and do small protests. But the number one story in the NFL, there's two big stories. There was Dak Prescott not getting a contract, and the fact that Kenny Stills was arrested in Louisville. And that's how big a deal this has been. And once again, Kenny Stills isn't a quarterback. He isn't an all-world receiver. He's a good pro player, but it's willing to put his career on the line. And I can't do anything but clap it up for Mr. Kenny Stills and call him a hero and challenge more NFL players to be like Kenny Stills. You let me know what you think. Was what Kenny Stills did heroic to you in your eyes? Because I definitely believe Kenny Stills needs to be recognized as a hero, as he supported Colin Kaepernick through and through. You know, the same guy the NFL came out and apologized indirectly to for fighting for our justice, you know, social justice and our people. And Kenny Stills has been on the right side of history for a very long time. And so I applaud Mr. Kenny Stills, and you're nothing more than a hero to me. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Ball Sports Network. Thank you guys for watching. Continue to hit the thumbs up button, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.